Well, welcome back. And went to Emmaus the other day, and while the missus was looking upstairs at the bric-a-brac, I was looking down at their junk pile because you sometimes see quite interesting things. And I saw something wood with nice slatted grills, and immediately thought that they might be vintage speakers or some such dumped. So, had to do something about that. Well, after quite a bit of argy-bargy, so to speak, I managed to get somebody, thankfully I know somebody up there, to recover it from the junk pile, and it turned out to be this rather nice Ferguson record player. That's all it is, there's no radio on it. Well, as you can imagine, it wasn't quite in this state when I found it. They even put it in the back of the old Rover for me. The casing was a bit dinged and danged about, so what I've done is to carefully clean it up, and then, aided by the missus, gave it a coat of varnish to restore the nice wood effect back again. Actually, it is a very thin wood veneer on top of this. Inside it is chipboard, I'm afraid, but outside it still looks nice enough. It's a very strange arrangement. It's more like some of the American consoles made by the likes of Zenith and RCA, Magnavox, that sort of thing, because it is a two-way speaker system, but what you've got are tweeters on the front, behind here. They're about 3 inches diameter, and then on the side, at a slant, you have a 5x8 speaker on both sides, and they're made by EMI. Now you have connections too in a 5-pin DIN format down there for both a tape and the radio, so you could use this as an amplifier for a system if you wanted to. What it didn't come with though, unfortunately, was the bass. It would have stood on legs originally, so I've made up a suitably sort of late 60s looking thing for it to sit on and for the records to go on. And of course, with being an old turntable that hasn't been used for heaven knows how long, another problem was that the turntable itself was completely utterly seized up with old oil and gunge grease, and it was so stiff in fact that you literally could not turn the turntable at all. So quite a bit of penetrating oil and rusto later and so on and so forth, and gentle heating and wiggling back and forth, and eventually the turntable was off. And then I found even the gear that does the arm return and so on was seized up. Same sort of thing, and even the follower on the cam that spins, that was seized up too. But as you can hear and see, it's all been freed off and made to run again. When she heard it, my missus took an instant liking to this thing, so this is going nowhere. You can see we've got the little, even the pilot light works on the front. There's a bulb, it won't be an LED. This is much too old. Probably late 60s, very early 70s, I should think. There was a version built as an HMV, I believe, which contained a radio as well. But as you can see, this one is literally just a record player, although a rather stylish one. The speakers are in sealed sound chambers at each end, and this does help with the sound, something powerful. The stereo mono switch is particularly noticeable on this because of the layout of the speakers. And when you put it onto stereo, you do get a very sort of stereo-wide, exaggerated effect, which of course was all the rage back then, but still sounds good now, to be honest. So there we are. There's no model number on this. I haven't been able to find anything about it on the interweb at all. But there you are, one Ferguson stereophonic solid-state record player, which I suppose you could call a console, complete with made-to-measure bass. Anyway, see you again soon, and hope you liked it.